It's Alicia McPeek and my brother, Marcy, here with Alpha Omega Health Coaching. Now we're here to talk about losing fat, not faith, over the age of 40. And Zach, we've been getting a lot of questions coming in, particularly about our upcoming free 7-day challenge. And the one that seems to come up a lot is people are dealing with being motivated. And so I just kind of put them all together and phrased it like this. How do you get motivated when you don't feel like doing it?
This is an awesome question. A lot of people, I'm going to share personal experience. I'm also going to share what I've done with a lot of clients. Here's the personal experience. And a lot of people are very surprised to know only about a third of the time that I wind up doing a workout, I am quote unquote motivated to do it. 1/3 of the time, guys. So what carries you, like if you're waiting for the motivation fairy to come along with its magic wand and like smack you upside the head for you to be motivated, the motivation fairy does not exist, guys. Motivation is not, you give it more stock and more importance than you should. The most important thing that we should do is, number one, get really clear on why we're going to work out in the first place. When you have clarity, you have direction. If you have written down that you're going to work out, do it. Do it for 10 minutes. Get it and just set a minimum standard for what you're going to do. I'm going to work out minimum 10 minutes, 4 days a week. And then you create a habit of doing it, but pair it with something that you do all the time. Notice I'm not talking at all about the motivation fairy. She don't exist. She don't. I promise. She ain't there. And when she does exist, she's only going to exist probably 5 to 10% of the time. And thank God she came around during those times. You can go and work out for like 45 minutes or an hour. Don't overdo it, especially you 40 and 50 somethings. But we've been there, right, Alicia?
Exactly. Yep.
But it's the habit that you're establishing, and get the narrative of needing motivation out, because it is the wrong focus. It like totally 100% the wrong focus. If you want to do something about your health, especially when it comes to exercise, it ain't motivation, it's habit. Set a low standard, a low barrier of entry, execute that for the number of days that you're going to, and make it really simple to do. Don't make it so hard that it looks like this unsurpassable mountain that's sitting in front of you, but instead just do it. And on the you feel a little bit extra motivation, which is probably only going to be a third of the time, then do a little more. Now, I'm going to ramble just for a couple more seconds, guys. This is the truth as to how it works. 1/3 of the time, you're going to be motivated, or at least I'm motivated. Another third of the time, it's going to be kind of, meh, okay, like that was okay. Glad I did it. And then another third of the time, you're going to have to drag your ass in against your will and just do it. But of all 1/3 of those times, there's never going to be a time that you regret doing it.
In fact, actually, the worse you feel about doing it and you do it anyway, the better you're going to feel about doing it afterwards.
And also, totally piggybacking on what she said, it also builds the strength and the habit muscles. And so get out of your head that you need to be motivated to do something. Instead, get clear on what you really want to do. And in spite of how you feel in the moment, do it anyway. And there's going to be really, really hard times, guys. But you will develop that stick with itness, that strength, and you got to get out of your head. It's just like if your kid came to you, or if an employee came to you, or if you came to you and you said, you know what, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to work. I'm just not going to. What would happen? Stop having that same kind of childish mentality. Yes, I'm the bad cop, guys. But stop having that childish mentality of thinking that it needs to be optional. Because in all honesty, it's so amazing for you. Motivation isn't what you need. It's what you need is what you need.
So I'm just going to say everything you just said differently because it's exactly what I would have said. Mel Robbins says, you will never, ever, 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 ever feel like it. So just forget that, which is what you just said. I love the concept of this motivation fairy, which means do fairies exist? Does Santa Claus exist? You know, if you get that out of your head, I just love that. That's a great analogy. Beautiful. I would start, and then, Dean Graziosi calls it your compelling future. Like, why are you doing this? And this is the most important thing you need to get clear on. And I think nobody goes into anything they're doing getting clear on that and then reminding themselves every day why they're clear on that. Yesterday, I talked a lot about the statistics of 40 and 50-year-olds from a health perspective. Just look at your family's DNA, and you can be guaranteed to go down that path if you don't make changes today. So that's a great place to start looking for a compelling future, because it's never ever, we've talked about this before, it's never ever going to be about being skinny or super fit or super ripped. It's ultimately going to have to be something much deeper. So
actually, I'm sorry to break your flow. Guys, she's talking about the compelling future, but also remember the other side of it, which is your uncompelling future.
Absolutely.
About it. That's where you're looking at, like, your genetic potential, and not taking action on this has headed you straight towards that. So we aren't talking about just a compelling future. We're also talking about what happens if you don't do it.
Yeah, most importantly, I think.
For that motivation period, if you continue to wait to be motivated to do things, guys, this uncompelling future, it is your path. So
and
remember,
that part's not a fairy tale. That's not, oh, it might happen. You're like pretty much guaranteed to turn on that genetic possibility if you keep going down the path that you're going. So motivation is that's a fairy, but this isn't. This is your facts, your truth, your destiny, if you don't make some changes now.
So good. In looking at this, guys, if you're not motivated by the grandness of what you can do, be motivated by the crap that can happen. Because either way it goes, there's going to be some extra added motivation.
Yeah.
Get clear. You get clear on what's going to happen if you don't do it. You'll get clear on what you really truly want. But either way it goes, and this is why so many times, man, we could talk about this forever. And
I know.
I totally hijacked you, but guys, one of the worst places for you to be is in that gray area limbo. It's one of the worst. A lot of people come into us when they hit the pit. Five freaking medicines that they're on, cancer, I've just seen it over and over and over again. It's the reason why I've stopped being like the crunchy feel good guy. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's do something about it. I'll give you a big old hug. I'll say, let's do this, but I'll also call you out, just because the honest truth and being really forthcoming keeps us out of this gray area where we fall into that bad area. Let's do this. Let's push out of this. Let's jump forward into this, and let's do it together. Sorry, Alicia.
Well, and I'm not very nice in this area either, because we're talking about your health destiny here, and it's a guarantee. So I do get pretty animated about this one as well. So I just want to say hey to my Aunt Debbie out there. Welcome. And there's somebody else, I'm not sure who it is, but welcome to you as well.
I don't know her.
Probably not. I don't think, but you probably will get to meet her. And so for those of you that are on, tell me, do you feel motivated today? Just say, yes, I feel motivated. No, I don't feel, just yes or no, to move forward with your health. Do you feel motivated? How are you feeling today? Okay. So with that being said, back to what you're saying, Dr. Joe Dispenza always says we get moved by two things, and I'm not going to say them exactly like he does, but it's basically something horrible happens or inspiration. And inspiration is very rare. it's very rare that we're inspired into action. It's usually something horrible happens. We get a diagnosis, a divorce, something inspires us that way, but it's very rarely going to be inspiration from the outside. Oh, they look really good. I want to look like that. That's not going to be the way it's going to go.
You're either getting a kick in the ass or a helping hand up.
Yeah.
It's one way or the other. And most of the time it's a big fat kick in the ass. And guys, I want to make sure that you're avoiding that. I don't want you to be in that position. I really don't.
What we're teaching or talking about and what we teach you to do is to become intrinsically motivated. And you can learn how to do that, how to call upon that instead of just going the way you feel. I feel like it. I don't feel like it. And just on top of what you said, I always say reward incremental changes, but that goes into your low barrier of entry. So we're saying the similar things, just kind of differently. For me, that's like, you're going to at least do this. I'm going to at least walk for 10 minutes every day or 4 days a week or whatever you decide. And here's the big one for me. And I want to know if anybody else ever has thought about this or felt this way. I guess it's one of my value systems, because my value says, if I promise myself that I'm going to do something and I don't do it, like that's the worst thing I could do to myself. Like that's like me going to you, Zach, and saying, I'm going to do something and then just not doing it, except worse, because it's not even being true to me. It's like I'm lying to myself and just not being honest about it. And so my value starts with, if I promise myself, I'm absolutely, no matter what, I'm going to keep that, because if I can't keep my promise to myself, how am I going to keep my promise to anybody else? So this is very important to me to put that as a value system in my head. I don't know if I was born with it, but somewhere along the way, I just decided, dang, if I can't even do what I'm supposed to do for me, first of all, how am I going to help anybody else if I can't even do it? Second of all, how am I going to be honest about what I'm saying to somebody else? Okay, here's another way of putting it. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And I really believe that. And you're only your lowest denominator, right? So I'm going to give you
a value of mine as well. Like how you do one thing is how you do everything.
So let's say you don't cheat on your wife, but you're over here gossiping about the guys at work. You don't get to raise up to, you don't cheat on your wife. You get to lower yourself down to gossiping. So you're always going to go to the lowest denominator of what you choose to be in the world. So
it's essentially, you're going to lower yourself to your identity that you're choosing.
And it's the lowest one. It's not the highest one. But we always think, oh, I don't cheat on my wife, so I'm amazing. Yeah, but you're over here, talking crap about your best friend behind his back. That's who you really are. That's what I mean. Like, that's what it means to me when I say I have to keep my promise to myself.
Man, this is getting heavy today. Oh, sorry. Understand something too. Like we're actually bringing this hot today. Alicia and I actually even had a conversation before we got on here, characterizing some of the faults that her and I are both experiencing right now. Mm-hmm. So we hold one another accountable. Alicia's got some health issues going on that she's having to work through, and it's a real thing inside of our family. And I understand completely, watched mom going through it, and I experience them on a consistent basis myself. If I fall off just a little bit, and we're getting it together and we're working together on it. So by the same token, I have literally put way too many things on my plate, and there's some commitments that I'm not able to completely follow through on like I should inside of what we're doing together, because I'm not playing full out and putting the focus where it needs to be. So you hear this, right?
Mm-hmm. So what did we do about it?
We're coaching each other. We mm-hmm. literally went through and processed an entire plan behind it, but we were transparent and honest. So understand, guys, we're not Alicia, when she feels like that, we aren't motivated. In fact, it's the opposite. Like, it takes Herculean, Mount Olympus, Zeus, God type effort for us to get up and do things. It takes that. But we also know we can't help you guys make these efforts if we are falling down to those levels of identity ourselves. So we're doing the hard thing, and it's hard for both of us
Exactly.
right now.
It is.
Level up and raise ourselves up with our own identity, but we're doing it. And it's funny because if Alicia and I were trying to do this 20 years ago, we would be blaming each other.
And
And
I was
it's
just thinking the other day how mature we are now and how well we handle each other.
an infantile brother sister like
Mhm.
fight and spat, and I would have been talking crap about her behind her back to my wife, and she would have been talking crap about me behind her back, behind my back, to mom, dad, and her
Yeah.
husband, and
And we would have imploded. We would have never gotten anywhere.
and it's funny because here I actually met her with empathy, with
Mhm.
understanding what she's going through, and she was full on about it. And her husband even said something about it. And I go, you know what? I'm also experiencing some things too. But you know what? We've got to raise ourselves
But
up.
we don't use them as an excuse, right? I came to the table and said, here's what's going on. And we immediately reminded ourselves of why we're doing what we're doing. We did this. What's our compelling future? What do we want to create here? What do we want to achieve? How many people do we want to help? We looked at that. And I also said, this is what's going on, but I'm not using it as an excuse. There's
Yep.
no, I'm still going to step up. This is important to me. But I just wanted to be transparent for two reasons. One, if I don't tell Zach what's going on, he's going to be wondering what the heck's going on. Am I committed? Whatever you might come up with. But secondly, it's for that accountability piece. Like you mentioned right from the beginning, we're coaching each other. We're being accountable to each other. We're putting into practice the very things ourselves that we're teaching and helping others do.
And you hear that, right, guys? I immediately even told her, like, we're having to shift around like scheduled meetings and things. And
Yep.
here's the thing, though, we're getting to them, and we find that sweet spot for it. But here's the other thing leading up to this, and hear this, guys. I want you guys to understand the reason why we're sharing this is so you don't see it. Drives me crazy when you see a lot of these Instagram facey spacey like BS people that seem to have it all together and have no problems. I want to know real.
Me
I
too.
want you guys to understand the 4 to 5 times that I work out a week, that 3 times out of 5 I don't really truly feel like doing it, and the workouts aren't the best, but I do them anyway because I've created the habit of it. That Father's Day weekend, like me going and having whatever I wanted to the whole weekend actually resulted in me being 3 pounds up and really having to pull it back together. It felt horribly for 2 days afterwards. Even told Alicia and ran into some issues with health. So understand, I want you guys to identify that you have real people going through real stuff. It's just we've also figured some things out along the way, and we're applying them. We
Right.
have tools, and we're applying those tools, and these tools are available to you too.
Exactly.
But you have to be ready to do something about it, not motivated to do it,
No.
but prepared to go through the shit to get to the sunshine.
Committed.
Get to the sunshine. I like that one.
So I'm going to add one more thing and then we'll wrap this up. Literally physically doing some kind of forward motion can change your state. You talked about last week, I think, Zach, putting a smile on your face can actually literally change you from being miserable and unhappy to happy. Well, it's the same thing with this. If you can literally stand up, and especially if you can walk outside and look at a great distance, and not only will it shift your mood, but you'll start feeling more like doing something. In particular, we're talking about working out here. So
Thing that I was sitting in a Bryn Bouchard conference, and Bryn Bouchard is an amazing high performance coach, guys, and I did coaching with him for a year. And at the end of that year, we were at this conference, and he noticed people were a little bit lagging in energy. It's day
mhm,
two, towards the end, and he had us come up and conjure up energy. As he says, a power plant doesn't have energy; it generates energy.
That's excellent.
Power plant sitting there turned off does not just have energy. It has to get turned on and generate the energy, but the human body is the exact same way. Guys, motion, getting up, moving. You don't wait to get motivated to do it.
No.
If you are tired and you don't feel like it, if you get in there and you do 5 to 10 minutes, your energy levels are generated and raised.
Absolutely.
And guys, we're going to be teaching this in this 7-day Midlife Metabolic Accelerator program. It's 7 freaking days. It's free. Alicia, you want to tell them more on how to sign up?
Absolutely. So I'm going to put the link right up here to the intake form. And as soon as we get that filled out, we will add you to the groups. You've got to fill this link out first. And one more thing, if you're sitting there right now and you're saying, I want to do it, but I don't really want to do it. If you don't want to, you must. From Dean Graziosi again. The thing you don't want to do is the thing you must do. So right now, go to that link and hit that and sign up on that form. Be a part of this. It's 7 free days and it's phenomenal. You guys are only going to win if you sign up. And if you sign up, you will definitely win. So Midlife Metabolic Accelerator, 7-day free challenge. Sign up there and we'll see you tomorrow.
Use Fat Not Faith F40, friends. I can't wait to work with you guys.